So for this week, we've watched a fair number of like Canadian shows lately. We've just been on a bit of a Canadian kick. And this is a show that it kind of came up as a side thing when we were talking about Schitt's Creek and things. I wasn't necessarily going to bring this show for us to watch. It's the show Letterkenny. But I decided I would because it's not a bad show. It's pretty cool. But I think what'll make it extra interesting is they made a spin-off of this show that I'll explain when we get to it, but I was so impressed with the spin-off of like, it sounds like the worst idea in the world, and it's like, how could they ever make this spin-off? And I like the spin-off better than the original. I was like, I can't believe how well they pulled this off. However, before we get to that, we got to watch the original show, Letterkenny. It kind of passed me by a little. It was one of these shows, like I kind of got off on the wrong foot with it initially because I didn't quite understand what it was, because it's a lot of the comedy is about like this weird... it's got really stilted is the wrong word, but like the dialogue is artificial, like everything they say is so complicated and so complex, yet they're these like hillbillies that live in northern Ontario. And that's at first, I guess I thought, is this like hipsters making a show about countryside stuff? Because like that's one thing I like about Trailer Park Boys, for example, is obviously the two Trailer Park Boys guys are actors and they were going through the actor stuff, but you can totally tell they're from Nova Scotia, and on some level they are those guys, like they understand it. And I wasn't sure about Letterkenny. I'm like, is this just people assuming what it's like or whatever? But I think I just didn't quite understand what it was, because it turns out that the guy who made this show, Jared Keeso, who is like, he's the main guy. He's all buff. He's all, handsome. And I looked him up, and he's been in some of these like Canadian cop shows where he's like a SWAT member and all this stuff. And he got fed up with trying to do that with the normal actor stuff. So he's actually from Listowel, which is that, or Listowel is how they pronounce it. But that's that place that our friend Brad used to live in. Little nowhere town, where I think a good way to describe it is, our city's not huge, Fredericton, New Brunswick. We have 2 Wendy's. Listowel only has 1. So, they're just clinging on to relevancy. But he's from there, and Letterkenny is basically Listowel.
Well, we'll compare it then to Minto or Chipman or some little place like that. Or maybe St. Stephen.
It's a little bigger.
We'll give it St. Stephen.
And, I guess like how this started is he had a Twitter account that was Listowel problems, and it was just stuff like, you still only got 1 tie that your dad tied for you 12 years ago, and when you have a job interview, you just slide it over your head. Fuck.
Sounds very Canadian.
Yeah. And then they evolved that to a little YouTube series called, they changed it to Letterkenny, so it wouldn't be about a specific town. And it was just called Letterkenny Problems, and it was just these little tiny clips of, again, just funny, weird stuff about like, you're just happened to my skidoo, whatever.
Well, maybe I've never seen Letterkenny. Maybe I just know the name. I think, because I don't remember seeing any of that.
It is mega successful because, they took the little YouTube series, and it's that network Crave. It's one of those like paid services, for TV.
Yeah, Crave TV, yeah.
So this is the first time they paid for their own original show. And it started in 2016. It ran for 12 seasons, 81 episodes. So there's tons of them.
Wow.
Yeah. It did real well. And it is finished now, but then they did a spin-off show that they're currently making. So it's really done well. So Jared Keeso is the main guy, and the guy who directs it is Jacob Tierney, who is the preacher in this show. And we'll just watch the first one, because it is just basically like, it is a weird mix. Like I said, it took me a little bit to get my footing with it, because it's not like a realistic take on living in a little rural Canadian town, because it's a little too, the writing's too fancy for that. Everyone's dialogue is too... Polished, very polished, yeah. Well, like a good example, it's not in any of these episodes, but like there's an episode where the previous episode ends with a fight he's about to have, and then in the next episode, him and his friend describe the fight, but they go through the whole alphabet, A, B, C, D. Like every sentence they say starts with, like, you can't really talk like that. Like, and I've seen people like leave comments on YouTube videos about this show, like, they nailed it. That sure is how we talk, eh? And it's like, no, you fucking don't. No, you don't. No one can talk like this. It's like, you'd have to be a genius to talk like this. So it's a weird mix. It's like this fancy dialogue and a not fancy rural life at the same time.
Well, all those people who comment like that, they must feel they're geniuses.
Yeah.
And they really do talk like that.
And obviously, as Canadians, I mean, we're just desperate to be proud of anything. And this show is worth being proud of. It's a good show.
Yeah, and we can talk alphabetically.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll just watch a Letterkenny, because again, this is like my sneaky way to actually show you a different show. But like I said, we got to watch Letterkenny first, and Letterkenny is great in its own way.
All right, let's go with it.
All right, season 1, episode 1.
All right, after autumn.
Ask anyone around the area about accuracy. Arctic activities are abundant, astonishing, astounding, and A1 on all accounts.
Back up.
Before beach bodies, bros better bundle up in boots, blankets, and balaclavas because a bloody bitter breeze will blow brisk, blustery, and bleak.
Careful.
Correct and common to cocoon in a cap, coat, and comforter because a cutting cold can consume your character, occasionally create a corpse, and continually compress your cock. Don't you dare dawdle dilly-dally your dick around after dark in December. She's definitely damn drafty if you're down a duvet.
Easily.
Each and every earthling's environmentally enslaved.
Fact.
It's fucking freezing. It's friggin' frigid. You're fit for flu in February without fleece, flannel, full-fledged furnace, or fire.
Go on.
It's a goddamn glacial. Go grab gloves or garb and gear up for gusts.
Hear ya.
Hypothermia if you don't heat your home to half hellish. It's harsh. Hibernate in a hoodie. Hot chocolate.
See, I was having a bit of a hard time articulating it before, but I think you can see what I mean, right? About how it's like very weird dialogue, or like as we were watching it, the thing that came to my mind is like it's like no one's talking to each other, they're just talking at each other. It's all super scripted.
Personally, it did nothing for me. I'm surprised it ran as many seasons. It's very disjointed. It's scenery in that. I told you it reminded me of Corner Gas. But Corner Gas has such wit to it. This is just like, oh, they're just throwing a bunch of people together who are commenting, and it doesn't really go anywhere. So the guy lost his girlfriend, and in the end he has a fight with the guy who supposedly took it. Was that the high point of the whole show? I guess that was the climax. Like,
so yeah,
it took forever to get there.
Basically, that is, you're at the same point that I was when I first saw it, so I can't argue at all. Like, it is one of these shows that when I came back to it 6 months later, it does grow on you, but you kind of gotta get that first bit in to just like accept that this is how it is. And then once you do, then it's like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty entertaining, but it is always very disjointed. Nothing ever really goes anywhere.
But usually a show to be successful grabs you at least so that you like a character or you can connect a little bit with it. I didn't like any of these people and I didn't care about any of them. It's like, yeah, whatever. You want to live in some little rinky-dink town somewhere and behave like a bunch of yahoos having a bottle of beer in your hand everywhere you go? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and I guess it must work better for other people right away.
I guess.
Yeah, it's like a weird mix, though, of, again, like I was saying at first, how my first impression was that it was hipsters trying to pretend they were country people, because it does have the duality of, like, the lowbrow stuff mixed with the fancy scripted dialogue. It's a weird mix. It's a weird show. But like I said, I probably wouldn't even have necessarily brought this show on its own merits. It does grow on you. Like, it's one of these things, if you happen to stumble across it in the future, now that you know what it is, there's a better chance that you'll start to get into it. But yeah, I also, like I said, I bounced off it at first too. However, I really just showed you that to show you the real show now, because with all of this in mind of like, okay, this is what this type of show is. So they got a spin-off made, but first off, it's a spin-off of Letterkenny, and I was so, like, I'll explain all the reasons why I didn't think I'd like it, where it's like, I got to like Letterkenny, but I'm like, do we really need another one? And it's about a hockey player, and I don't give two fucks about hockey, so I was like, okay, strike number 2, and also, let me show you who it's about. This is where I was like, I cannot believe they pulled this off. So it's called Shoresy, and Shoresy is one of the side characters in Letterkenny, but he's played by the same guy that plays Wayne, the main hick. So they never show him because, it's the same actor. So you always just see him from behind, or he's yelling from the next room or whatever. And his whole gimmick is that he has a high-pitched voice and he insults the other hockey players. That's it. That's all they had to go on. So let me show you just a clip of Shoresy. Because again, just the fact that the Shoresy show is so good blows my fucking mind, because he's just a weird side character in Letterkenny. There's no reason this should have worked. But here's an example of what Shoresy was in Letterkenny.
Love the hustle, bro.
Fuck, you could cut the sexual tension over there with a knife. Give your balls a tug, tit fucker.
Fuck you, Shoresy. Put a shirt on.
Fuck you, Riley. Go scoop it off your mom's bedroom floor for me. She gives my nipples butterfly kisses.
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Fuck you, Jonesy. Your mom shot cum straight across the room and killed my Siamese fighting fish. Threw off the pH levels in my aquarium, you piece of shit.
Fuck you, Shoresy. Do you hear yourself?
Fuck you, Riley. Should have heard your mom last night. She sounded like a window closing on a Tonkinese cat's tail. Sounded like...
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Fuck you, Jonesy. Should have heard your mom last night. She sounded like my great aunt when I pull a surprise visit. She was like, oh!
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Fuck you, Riley. Your mom sneaky gushed so hard she bucked me off the waterbed last night. Don't tell her I was thinking about Jonesy's mom the entire time.
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Fuck you, Jonesy. Your mom ugly cried because she left the lens cap on the camcorder last night. It's fucking amateur hour over there.
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Like, that's it. That's all we got to work with is Shoresy. So yeah, I was going into this like, I feel like there's a very low percentage chance that I'm going to like the Shoresy show. And I'm just shocked how much I like it because it's more of a real show. It like actually goes from episode to episode. And they film Letterkenny in Sudbury, but, you know, pretending it's this other place. Now it's just set in Sudbury. They're like, all right, we're filming in Sudbury. This will just be in Sudbury. So it's just adult hockey, you know, it's just a hockey team that's not doing well. Shoresy's on the team. They're losing all their games. And yeah, because they couldn't hide his face anymore, it is the same guy. But it's also shocking that it's the same actor because when he plays Wayne, you know, he's got his tucked in shirt and stuff, and he's always squinting. So basically in this, he opens his eyes all the way. He's got a beard. He's missing a tooth. And he just seems like a different guy. It's crazy. It's crazy how I just can't believe how well this turned out. And the other thing that's neat about this show is sometimes it feels really artificial when they try to like make shows inclusive. You know, it's a big thing that started in, I don't know, the 80s with Captain Planet or whatever, of like, we got to make sure that everybody in the show isn't just a white guy. But in this show, it really feels natural. Like there's a whole bunch of native characters and they just feel like they're not there because some mandate and they're not there because they just felt like they should do it. It just feels normal. And French characters, like half of the show is in French, but it doesn't feel like when they cram French down your throat, like Bon Cop, Bad Cop, and all these fucking terrible, weird bilingual movies. It just is so Canadian in so many good ways. And yeah, it's just like, I came out of this like, wow, I like that show like kind of a lot more than Letterkenny. And I thought it was going to be the worst show ever. So there's my pitch. And now I guess there's nothing left to do but watch it.
See if I get the surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll like it better than Letterkenny. Yeah, you'll definitely will.
That would not be hard.
But I don't know if you'll like it as much as I did. But yeah, I just like it. It's got a cool style. It's got cool music. So, and I've got the first 2 episodes of this one because
let's check her out.
Just to show how it does, like this one actually progresses like from an episode to episode like a normal show. So yeah, Shoresy episode 1 and 2. This started in 2022. There's 4 seasons so far. They're making the 5th one right now. So this is a rare case of us watching a show that's actually still on right now. But all right, Shoresy.
Jim wants to see you at the Coulson.
For what?
You're the veteran.
Huh?
You're the veteran. You're supposed to lead this team.
Aren't you too old for this? Like, how old are you?
You're too young for me, Zieg, and me gets bordering on harassment at this point.
We just got pumped 5 goose for the 20th loss of the campaign.
Well, Michael's a fucking joke.
Michaels wants to fold.
No.
What do you want us to do?
I want us to never lose again.
What's an aqua dump?
Huh?
What's an aqua dump?
It's when you take a dump in a lake.
It's taking a dump in any body of water.
What about a bathtub?
That's taking a dump in a fucking bathtub, Sanguinette.
In this case, it was a lake.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, you told your coach that you got a squeezer from his sweetie while taking a dump in the lake.
I said I could have got a squeezer. Sanguinette actually got the squeezer from her.
Her brothers are super weird.
Ugh, Sanguinette.
They weren't together at the time.
Look at you getting a little pee-pee whack.
Do you think it's funny? Getting a booster in a lake?
It was a river.
I said, do you think it's funny?
I don't think anything's funny. I'm trying not to cry.
Oh, don't cry, my guy.
Shut the fuck.
Why would you cry?
We just got pumped 5 goose for the 20th loss of the campaign. I think the only reason I'm not crying is because I already cried a little bit.
And then fix your makeup, bitch.
Jim wants to see you at the Coulson.
So the classic tale of the team that can't lose any more games. But yeah, so as you can see, that's way more of an actual like show, way more of a normal show. And like you were saying when we were watching it, like his voice, his little annoying Shoresy voice, like of all, like I was saying at the start, all the different things I felt like this show had against it being a good show. And I forgot about that. That's one of them, is that they had to kind of keep that voice because as a silly throwaway character yelling insults on Letterkenny, that's how we talked. Give your balls a tug. And like now he's the main character and he still talks like that and it works somehow.
Well, because you've got to have such an annoying person, and that voice does it. I mean, if you had to live with a voice like that, you'd want to cut the man's vocal cords.
Yeah, and it's still like kind of impressive. Like he's mostly like, yeah, like a foil or whatever. But as the show goes on, you know, he does have an occasional little moment about like, you know, getting heart to heart with somebody about how he feels like himself out on the, you know, in real life, he's like this weird dinosaur that nobody likes and he's, you know, everyone is annoyed by him. But out on the hockey thing, he can just punch someone in the goddamn mouth and he can be himself. And it's like a little bit like, yeah, cool. But those moments are few and far between. Mostly he is like a weird joke, but it works somehow. Like he's not a bad main character. But on paper, he should be the worst main character. Like what an annoying guy.
And not only that, like, he's so into the insults. Whenever he's got to insult somebody, he's got to insult their mother. Right. Like he does it over and over and over again with that annoying voice. And you're saying, oh, like, I know he's the star of the show, but, I mean, and he's supposed to be annoying. Well, he is. He's very annoying.
And again, yeah, it's just like, I don't know that he would be that way if they just made this show from the start. It's just because that's all he did in Letterkenny was fuck you, Shoresy. Like that's what he was. So to make a Shoresy show, like it would have been disingenuous if all of a sudden in his show he's not like that anymore. He's got to be like that, and he sure is.
Well, and if he spoke, you went into showing me what his real voice was like. He could not pull off this character of being so annoying if he had a regular voice. But that voice, ugh.
Yeah, and I just love the style. Like that show just has cool style because they kind of did some of that stuff in Letterkenny too, and the music is kind of similar and stuff. But it's like they took the little skills that they learned on that show and like brought it into like a quote unquote real show. And you know, I guess I'll just slight spoiler for season 1. But they managed to pull it off. They managed to not lose any more games. They got the new team and, you know, and they get established enough that then in the later seasons, things can get a little dicier, but they're not on the razor's edge of shutting down anymore. But yeah, just like nothing new necessarily about the fundamentals of it. Like you've seen that, especially in sports stuff, a million times. But it feels so Canadian in a way that I don't know that I've ever seen a show before where I really was like, I'm proud to be Canadian. Like maybe Trailer Park Boys, but even Trailer Park Boys was like, I'm proud, but I'm also ashamed that I'm from the Maritimes, you know?
The acting in this, too, is much better than in Letterkenny, which was very stilted. The characters interact with each other more naturally. The conversation flows more naturally, whereas the other one, when I said it seemed like, it's almost like they were on a stage and they were rehearsed and everything was stilted. The acting was not natural at all. This one is very, very well done as far as interaction.
And it's neat too. It's neat too how they kind of still can pull though from that palette, because they once in a while this show falls into that, like in that episode we just watched when they break into a soliloquy about the Dutch players. That was like artificial enough that the characters inside and outside are both talking about it. Like it does that, but it just dips into it and then it dips back out. Where yeah, in Letterkenny, every conversation is that way. And yeah, like the Canadianness, like the fact that like it's got, like I was saying, it's got native characters, it's got French characters, it's got black characters, it's got white characters, and it all just feels like the natural way Canada feels. It doesn't feel like they did that like on purpose.
I believe that's real snow.
Yeah, that too. And even just all the little references when they reference Roll Up the Rim to Win or Ducks Unlimited and all this stupid Canadian shit. And it's like, yeah, like, nice. Like, this feels like a true Canadian show to me. Where, yeah, with Letterkenny, it's got Canadian elements, But like I was saying, when those people would comment like, yes, sure, this is exactly how we talk. It's like, no, it fucking isn't, you liar. Letterkenny, I like Letterkenny, but it doesn't represent Canada really. But I feel like Shoresy does. Even the fact that it's about freaking hockey. And like I was saying, I'm not a hockey fan. I don't watch hockey. But I guess maybe there's something in me Canadian-wise that it is like if I had to pick a sport, I do think hockey's the coolest one because you're on skates. Like it's just so much more dynamic and fast.
And there's so much in hockey that is based on violence. And this show really does promote that.
Yeah, like that scene when they were in the club and they're just, the guy's trying to intimidate the one dude and then the rest of the team comes. But then when they all take out their fake teeth, like when you're suddenly staring down 4 guys that are all missing teeth, that must be a moment of like, uh-oh, I fucked up.
Standard hockey game, most of the audience gets so excited when there's a battle on the ice and they're beating the piss out of each other and there's blood flying. And I mean, there's a lot of talk about how that should not be part of the game, but that's the reality. You bash a stick over somebody's face and cut them down at the knees. Sure, you get a penalty, but big deal.
And it really does kind of fit with this, too, that it is just senior hockey in Sudbury. If there's ever a level of hockey where it's not only okay, it's kind of encouraged, especially if you just need people to start coming to the games. Like, it's a very good explanation for why this show is going to have a lot of hockey violence.
Sure, because that's the only way, obviously, that they're going to win. Yeah. They're going to cut the other guys off at the knees.
Yeah, I even thought they did a pretty good job of explaining why all these various people are available and willing to come to Sudbury, except maybe Frankie, the big bearded guy from Quebec. His explanation was pretty bad, just that there's a lot of hot women in Sudbury. But everybody else, it's like, okay, so that's why this guy fell off, and that's this guy played lacrosse or whatever. Like, we got to take who we can get. But I even like that the reason he's got his reason how he knows all these people and how he met the Quebecois guy is because they hated each other and got in fights. It's like, yeah, that's going to be like, I guess that's what I like about that Shoresy character. And we were saying as we watched it that he kind of reminds us a bit of some people we may know in life, like, there's obnoxiousness, but that he's not beloved, like the other characters aren't like, oh, Shoresy. They're all like, fuck you, you fucking annoying dickhead. Like, I think that's the key to it, is that he's somewhat admirable in the sense that he never wants to lose and he wants the team to win and he's going to, in his obnoxious way, make it happen. But yeah, if the other characters were putting up with it, like he was the hero, then it would be an annoying show. But that everyone's like, this fucking guy, God damn it. Like,
we the audience look at him and say, oh man, I can't stand that guy. If I had to live with a guy like that, like, ugh. But yet you want to watch him because he is just so... He's likable, but he's dislikable. Like, that there's a side to him that is very sensitive when he cries.
Yeah, I love that.
But there's just, and I think it's that voice. I just can't do.
Yeah, I was surprised too, the little thing like with the crying. I was surprised how effective that was of just making him a compelling character of like, they're all ribbing him for the fact that he's about to cry. And he's like, I'm not going to cry, but only because I already cried a bit earlier. System. And then he's like, doesn't know what a PDF file is. And he brought all of his reports in a duotang. There's like weird little endearing things to go along with the nonstop constant conflict.
So you get the impression that although he's annoying, as that show goes on, I could see myself, if I watched it regularly, probably getting to like him. They probably develop his character enough that you appreciate that he does have a little bit of that sensibility, even though he's a real dick.
And yeah, again, it's just, I really was shocked because, I don't know, I watched like 3 or 4 seasons of Letterkenny. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was just like, oh, let me just see. Like, I'm just so curious because like I was saying, like, how could Shoresy be good? How could it possibly be good that it's just this weird hockey spinoff about this guy who just yells insults from the toilet and everyone just says, fuck you, Shoresy. So yeah, I mean, I was blown away by that show. I couldn't believe how much I liked it. So yeah, there we go. We got through the weird trenches of Letterkenny because I just needed to set the groundwork. But yeah, Shoresy was the real show I wanted to show you. And I mean, as far as hockey shows go, geez, like even just that they pulled that off too. Like they got me to care about a hockey show. Nice work, boys. I don't know what else to say.
And then they've got to wear the blueberry shirts. I love that. I love that at the end. How embarrassing to be wearing a shirt with blue in it.
And again, yeah, it all sort of like it's all realistic enough, which I guess that's another thing that surprised me is because Letterkenny is so unrealistic on so many levels. And yeah, it's like you're this team that's about to fold, that you're not being able to pull people. You just take the sponsorship, man. You'll just take it. If it's the Blueberry Festival, then it's the Blueberry Festival.
And it fits, right? Sudbury. That's what they call it. Not Sudbury, Sudbury. Perfect play on words.
Cool. And then next week we'll get back into whatever old TV, but